Whew, okay, we needed this nugget right here, as Sam Amico dropped an absolutely beautiful gem saying that our guy, Dan Gilbert, would never trade Donovan Mitchell to the Los Angeles Lakers. And I know what you're saying. I said, our guy, Dan Gilbert, we hate that lying rat bum because of what all the things he said about LeBron when LeBron came to Miami. But y'all know the old adage that says the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And in this case, our enemy is the Los Angeles Lakers. And I actually did read the article because people should. Nowadays, there's a whole culture of just reading headlines and people get entirely clickbaited and confused. So I read the article and it actually states that the reason Dan Gilbert would never trade Mitchell to the Lakers is because he thinks the idea of helping LeBron is quote unquote ridiculous. And obviously, their relationship isn't great because Dan Gilbert, if y'all don't remember, said some very nasty things about LeBron when he left and came to Miami. That's why we don't rock with him in general. But they were able to mend fences a little bit because LeBron obviously did end up going back to Cleveland. But a lot of the reporting there is things are still kind of cold between those two. They didn't have a lot of communication when LeBron did go back to the Cavs. LeBron just kind of went back because he wanted to win a ring for his city, right? We know why he went back. So things obviously aren't great with them. And Dan Gilbert says that he would never want to help LeBron. Now, to that same regard, you could say, hey, would he want to help the Miami Heat, the team that initially stole LeBron from him? I don't know. But like I said, we need some optimism on this Mitchell to Miami train because the last few days haven't been great, right? You had Donovan Mitchell on Twitter called Cap to all the reporters that said he wasn't happy. You had Adrian the Snake Bum Wojnarowski go on ESPN and say that Donovan Mitchell would be happy to sign an extension with Cleveland. And you can't take anything that you can't take any word that Wojnarowski says as the truth because all he does is try to help his boys in the front office. There's a lot of stories of him doing some shady stuff just to kind of lower or drive up the trade value of his friends' assets, right? Because we know Woj is very tuned in with the front office guys and all these execs. I dropped a brilliant deep dive video into it about Adrian Wojnarowski. Y'all could go find it. Just search Wojnarowski, or I'll tag it at the end of this video. But anyways, he's a snake, so you can't trust him. But we didn't really see too many other nuggets kind of pushing the narrative in the other direction until what we got today, right? And the best part about this report is if you continue the tweet, which quotes what was in the article, it says that Gilbert and Kobe Altman, which is the president of the Cavaliers, said they would look for a lucrative package of multiple draft picks and one or two young players with star potential in a Donovan Mitchell trade. For example, a source told HoopsWire that the Cavaliers would ask for Tyler Herro, Jaime Jaquez Jr. from the Miami Heat if talks were to get to that point, which that is beautiful to my ears because just a few days ago, I made my own Mitchell to Miami package, and those were the exact two guys I had in it. I did say I would willingly throw in Nikola Jovic if it came down to it because I personally think Donovan Mitchell is worth it. I know a lot of people disagree. I hear there's this notion out there that he's a playoff choker like Chris Paul, James Harden. He's had a few bad playoff games, but I think he is so far from that realm of guys. We just saw Mitchell this year drop 50 points in a very clutch game. His team lost, but it wasn't because of him. He scored every point in the fourth quarter, and he is a big-time player, right? And I'm ashamed of it. A few years ago, I was the guy that said, yeah, Mitchell's better than Tyler Herro, but is he 3 first-round picks better? Probably not. And I've realized since that not only is he 3 first-round picks better, but he's also Jaime Jaquez and potentially Nikola Jovic better than Tyler Herro. So all of that to say, I would definitely do the trade. And the reason that this kind of report is interesting is not only one, because they signaled out the Miami Heat specifically, but two, because it not only mentions Dan Gilbert, the owner, it also mentions Kobe Altman. Now, I want to shout out Ethan Skolnick here because I've been listening to his 5 on the Floor pod, and he mentions how he has a close relationship with Kobe because Ethan used to cover the Cavaliers back when LeBron was there, right? So they've had a lot of conversations, and Ethan speaks very highly of Kobe. He said he's basically the complete opposite of Joe Cronin's petty ass. This is a guy that will at least pick up the phone and talk to you to try to negotiate a deal. Unlike Joe Cronin, who basically just said, I'm not listening to you. I'm going to screw you over and screw over my star player just because I can. That's not a good way to do business. And that's why you see that the Portland Trailblazers, one, suck. Scoot Henderson didn't even make the all-rookie first team, unlike our guy, Jaime Jaquez Jr. And obviously that team in general is just in hell because they have no assets, no good players. They're attached to DeAndre Ayton, and that team sucks. And that's because Joe Cronin was petty and Karma's a bitch. But anyways, it's enough about Joe Cronin. Ethan Skolnick says that Kobe Altman is not only willing to play ball, but he has a relationship with the Miami Heat executives. Because the whole story, remember how D-Wade was on the Cavs? I know we don't like to talk about it. It's taboo, but it did happen. And then eventually the Cavs traded D-Wade back to Miami for a second-round pick. D-Wade at the time was worth more than a second-round pick, but Kobe was willing to sort of oblige D-Wade in his wishes and also kind of appease Miami Heat and help them both mend that relationship. Because apparently Kobe had a chance encounter with Andy Ellisberg. They're just talking back and forth, and then Kobe just says, hey, do you guys want Dwayne back? And Andy's like, sure. And then they're able to work out a deal and get Dwayne back to the Heat for just a second-round pick. And that's obviously the story according to Ethan Skolnick. So shout out to him. So very clearly, there's a relationship between those two guys. So if Mitchell was to become available, then I do think there's a path where he could work towards getting him over here, at least have an actual negotiation this time. And I know whether he's on the table or not, we don't know. But because there's, like I said, narratives and nuggets in both directions. But the facts is, he hasn't signed the extension yet, and until Donovan Mitchell does, he's theoretically available. Now, I don't think he's actually allowed to sign it yet. I tried finding the date online. I can't find the actual date, but it's within the next month. I'm sure as things get closer, we'll start to find out. But once Mitchell is eligible to sign that extension, if he does not, that's when the ball gets rolling. That's when things get very, very interesting. Part of me as a Heat fan almost wishes that he just signs the extension immediately. Let me tell you why. A lot of people in my comments have been saying this, and I agree. I don't know if I've portrayed differently, but I don't think the Heat get Donovan Mitchell. I ultimately don't think they end up getting him. I think Mitchell stays with the Cavs the first half of the season, and then they end up moving him at the deadline when Mitchell sees, okay, nothing has changed. But I just don't think the Heat have as good of assets as a lot of other teams that will be fighting for Mitchell. So I think he goes elsewhere. That's why a lot of people in my comments have been saying, don't get your hopes up like Dame. Don't do this again. And I agree. And that's why I kind of hope that if Mitchell just signs his extension early, none of us have to worry about it. And then the Heat can move on to actually using an offseason to fill out their roster. Instead of like last season when they lost out on Kelly Oubre and all these other free agents and potential trade pieces while they waited for Dame. They didn't get Dame and they were ultimately screwed. So if Mitchell was to sign early, we could focus on some of these other guys, particularly Trae Young. I'll have obviously plenty of other videos about that. I'm a fan of Trae Young. I know people don't like the defense, but he's always led a top 10 offense, and that's what the Heat certainly need, right? And maybe if he could ever be a capable defender, it'd obviously be with the Miami Heat, but I digress. That's the one positive. If Mitchell does sign his extension immediately, we could finally focus elsewhere. But again, as far as the Lakers, I actually just posted a video yesterday. I reacted to a Bleacher Report article of a few trade packages. They had a Lakers trade package, and it was Austin Reeves, Hachimura, Hood Schifino, and 2 first-round picks. I mean, that's certainly not a great package, right? Hood Schifino was taking 1 pick ahead of Jaime, nowhere near as good as him, doesn't have the kind of future that he has. Austin Reeves is obviously a good player, but the fit, I also think, could be weird. But it's hard to say because who knows who the Cavs move. There was Darius Garland rumors and Jared Allen rumors. So it's a potential that team could look completely different next season. But obviously, I don't think that particular package is as good. But there's also other things the Lakers could do. They could make the money work with D'Lo, who has a player option. That also complicates things. But maybe the Lakers do a signing trade with D'Lo to get a first-round pick. And then the Lakers send that first-round pick to Cleveland. All kind of stuff like that, just like the Heat could do with Tyler Herro, which is something I'll also be talking more about in the future. Because one trade that I do like, the Heat could send Tyler Herro to the Magic and get a first-round pick back and some expiring like Joe Ingles, for example. And the Heat could load up on some assets this way if the Cavs weren't interested in Tyler Herro, for example. But like I said, the report specifically mentions Jaime Jaquez Jr., who just made the all-rookie first team today. Shout out to him. And look at this man. Look at the aura that he exudes. Now, it doesn't scream Cleveland. I get you there, because this is a Miami boy right here. Don't get it twisted. But maybe he could help bring some of that swag to the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I think he would fit great there. I mean, that team has been searching for a small forward forever. They drafted Isaac Okoro. He's kind of a bum. Can't shoot to save his life. They got Karis LeVert in there, in and out sometimes. He is the definition of inconsistent. I think Jaime Jaquez would have a direct role in that offense. And hey, if they also do want Tyler Herro, like the report said, Tyler Herro, I think, is a better off-ball player than Donovan Mitchell. That's part of the reason Mitchell and Garland didn't work well, is because they're two ball-dominant guys. Herro was ball-dominant as well, but he is a substantially better shooter than Donovan Mitchell. So in theory, he could probably play better off the ball, maybe. But again, according to what the Cavaliers are looking for, the Heat certainly got it. And shout out to Jaime Jaquez Jr. I guess he came in 4th place here for the all-rookie first team. Chet and Wemby got a 99 first-team votes, of course, followed by Brandon Miller. And then right behind Jaime Jaquez is Brandon Podziemski. Brandon Podziemski. I just call him AirPods, one of the more fire nicknames in the NBA. And then on the second team, Derek Lively just had a great playoff. Shout out to him. They just beat OKC in that crazy game. Amen Thompson, Keontae George, Cason Wallace, and G.G. Jackson. Notice whose name I didn't say, and that's Scoot Henderson. So f you, Joe Cronin. That's all I got to say for this video, man. Shout out to Jaime Jaquez once again, and we'll keep y'all updated all postseason. I'm gonna have a lot of draft content coming up too, because I'm not gonna spam the Donovan Mitchell stuff, but it is fun to talk about as we get some more of these little rumors coming in. So let me know what y'all think down below. Would you give up the farm for Donovan Mitchell? Would you be a little hesitant? I had someone on my Twitter say that they prefer Trae Young. Let me know if he's tripping or if you agree. Most importantly though, like the video and subscribe. We on the grind to 5K subs by the start of next season. Got about 1,100 to go. It's gonna be a big challenge, but I think we could do it together. But I can't do it without y'all, I guess. So hit subscribe. I'll stop yapping. See y'all next time. Peace out.
Look, pull up in your city trying to get that dead face. Do it on my own, I don't need no dead weight. Had to kill him off, yeah, I need a head space. You know this homegrown bitch don't offend me.